When you accept that time doesn't matter as much as practicing and implementing actual recovery skills, then that's when real recovery begins. That's a quote from Dr. Kevin Skinner in his book Treating Sexual Addiction. 10 out of 10 recommend. Amazing book. But I also love that quote. And I think we have a weird, I don't know if I call it a stigma, but a weird, this idea in the world of recovery that we just need to abstain from something, right? Whatever it is, whether it's pornography, alcohol, nicotine, gambling, you name it. Anything that has to do with recovery, it's kind of all the same thought process. We just need to abstain. We just need to stop doing that thing for X amount of time. And then once I hit that time, I'm good, right? I'm fine. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I think this idea of focusing on time is just a big waste of time. I think it's pointless. It really doesn't do much for you at the end of the day when it comes to actual recovery. If time is your main focus, then you are just focused on the wrong thing. And it's not necessarily your fault. It's this, I think all of us contribute to that at one point. That's led us up to this point. And so rather than focusing on avoiding, we need to focus on becoming, right? Just like the quote from Dr. Kevin Skinner saying that we need to focus on actual skills and implementing those skills rather than just focusing on, okay, I'm not going to watch porn for the next 5 days. And that's a good intention. There's nothing inherently wrong with this idea of just abstaining from something, right? I think at the end of the day, it's something good. I don't think it's as helpful, but I do think it's good. I mean, not having this goal of wanting to abstain from pornography for 5, 10 days, whatever it is that you're trying to do, is really good. It's a great thing to try and shoot for. But it's also, in the long run, not going to get you to the point that you want to be at in X amount of time. If your goal in recovery is to fully recover, not just quit this addiction, if it's to recover, then you need to actually become someone different. You need to become someone new than who you currently are. And just abstaining from something, just not looking at porn and continuing to do the same things that you're already doing, I don't think is going to get you as far. I do think it has merit to it, but it's not going to get you as far, and to the point that I think this idea of yourself isn't going to be possible to achieve without actually learning to implement those skills rather than just focusing on avoiding and focused on time. So, how do we do this? In all of the episodes, maybe not all of them, but the majority of them, we do a little meditation at the beginning, right? We haven't as of late. I'm trying to find a way to weave that in here to continue to make the episodes interactive and interesting without, anyway, it's a whole thing. But during all of these meditations, during all of these reflections on the last time you had an urge to go PMO, porn, masturbation, orgasm, PMO, we talk about, or I ask you to reflect on that entire experience, on the last time you did have an urge to PMO or the last time you did PMO. And what do I say every time? What do we talk about? We talk about learning to do something different when you have an urge outside of just going to PMO, because those are the things that you've been doing over the years, right? Those are the ways that you've trained your brain to react when you have an urge, right? If you see something, if you see an attractive lady at the gym, or you see a crazy photo that just triggers you, then that sets your brain into this automatic way of doing things that you've trained to do over the years. So what do we do at this point? Just abstaining, so just focusing on not watching porn, will not really do a whole lot as far as training your brain to do something different. You see what I'm saying? It's a good thing at the end of the day to try and abstain, but what are you like replacing that with? What are you trying to actually train your brain to do then? Do nothing? Like just to fight the urge the entire time? You know? I don't think it's going to be very helpful. And so we've talked about setting these little goals that you want to try and do every time that you have an urge to go PMO. And these are little things like standing up, going to get a drink of water, or focusing on your breath, calling a friend, texting a family member, whatever it is. We are doing these different things to try and then rewire our brain, retrain it to do something different when we have that urge. And this process is the process of becoming. We are becoming something different. We are changing who we are and what we do. And what we learned in the last episode is that our behavior can reflect the way that our genes are expressed. And so the behavior of going to get a drink or focusing on your breath and dropping the rope in the tug of war. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll do more episodes on that later. It's acceptance and commitment therapy, literally the best. We're going to talk about it more. Don't worry if you don't know what it is for now. Anyway, dropping the rope, different things like that will retrain those genes in the way that they actually are expressed, therefore changing who literally you are and how you act at the gene level, which is pretty darn cool. So just some food for thought. Going forward, try not to focus on time. And I know that that's hard to do because we want so badly to just say, yeah, I haven't looked at porn, I haven't had a slip up in 30 days. That sounds really good. But if you haven't done anything or learned anything in that time, at the end of the day, I think that's a waste of time. That's time that you could have been using to become something different, to become the person that you actually want to be. You see what I'm saying? So let's say you haven't had a slip in 7 days and then you have a slip. But within those 7 days, every time that you may have had an urge, you learn to manage that in a healthier way rather than just fighting it the entire time and trying to just white knuckle it. You were able to go for a little walk or to get a drink and focus on your breath, and you started to actually teach your brain something different. But you still PMO'd. That's okay. That is still a win. That is how recovery is actually going to begin. Recovery doesn't begin with just saying, I'm going to abstain for 7 days and then call it good. That's not very helpful. So think of some ways that you can actually start to teach your brain something new or to train it in a way that's more helpful when it comes to recovery rather than just focusing on time specifically. And that's something that we all have to change. It's a huge focus that I think we all can do better on. Because when you ask someone in recovery how they're doing, they say, oh, I'm X amount of days sober. That's the first thing that they generally say, right? Because that's what we like to focus on. And I get it. It's something easy. It's an easy way to track your overall recovery. It's not easy to track or have proof that you're actually recovering when you say, oh, I'm 7 days sober. But in that time, you actually learned something new and you've started training your brain to do new things. That's not as flashy as Yeah, with 30 days sober. Yeah, but in that meantime, you haven't done anything else. You just white knuckled for 30 days. So just think about some ways that you can actually start to become that person that you want to be rather than just abstaining from the person that you don't want to be. At the end of the day, that's going to get you to where you want to be, and that's going to get you to who you want to be. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.